Vince Gill and Garth were both giants of 90s country music, but their careers were carefully kept apart, and not by coincidence. While the public grouped them together as legends of the same era, the truth behind their distance tells another story. Garth brought spectacle to country music, pyrotechnics, sold-out stadiums, and theatrical flair. But behind the scenes, whispers began in the early 2000s that Garth once invited Vince to collaborate on a major duet. Vince reportedly declined, not because he was busy but out of conviction. To Vince, Garth symbolized the genre's slide into commercial showbiz, something he had resisted for years. Subtle digs followed. Vince made pointed remarks in interviews about country music becoming Broadway with boots, a line many saw as a not-so-subtle jab at Garth. Fans laughed, but those close to the scene knew it was serious. Although both men attended high-profile events, they rarely stood side by side. Even during a 2010 tribute concert, the lack of collaboration was obvious. Vince worked with legends like Dolly Parton and Carrie Underwood but never once teamed up with Garth. That absence was telling. It wasn't about rivalry or resentment, it came down to core beliefs. Vince valued authenticity and tradition. Garth embraced transformation and mass appeal. A similar quiet tension existed between Vince Gill and Kris Kristofferson. On the surface, they were both respected titans in the industry. But stylistically, they couldn't have been more different. Kristofferson wrote with raw emotion and spontaneity, embracing imperfection and grit. Vince, a perfectionist by nature, focused on polished arrangements, lyrical precision, and musical discipline. Industry insiders say Vince found Kris's approach too chaotic. Not that he doubted Kris's talent, he knew it was there, but the freewheeling, rough-around-the-edges songwriting conflicted with Vince's ideals. To him, great music required mastery and structure. Two shared public stages and industry ceremonies but never collaborated. Their interactions were courteous but lacked warmth. Vince once acknowledged the outlaw movement's boldness but also criticized how it sometimes ignored the craft of good songwriting. Their quiet clash reflected a deeper conflict in the genre, the battle between raw rebellion and refined professionalism. Kristofferson inspired the wild spirits of country, while Vince became a guiding voice for traditionalism. Both shaped the genre, but never together. When Billy Ray Cyrus shot to fame with Achy Breaky Heart, he changed the trajectory of country music. The song became a cultural phenomenon, sparking a national line dancing craze. But Vince wasn't celebrating. Rooted in storytelling and musical skill, he saw Billy Ray's hit as a troubling sign. To Vince, the song prioritized catchiness over craftsmanship. While the public danced, he winced at what he saw as a shallow, gimmicky tune. Though he never criticized Billy Ray openly, insiders say their encounters were cold and detached. Vince maintained civility but not friendship. What worried him most wasn't the song itself, but its ripple effect. Billy Ray's success paved the way for a wave of pop-friendly, hook-driven artists. In Vince's eyes, the soul of the genre, its emotional depth and storytelling, was being lost. His silence said it all. No praise, no collaborations, no public nods. While he may have acknowledged Billy Ray's mass appeal, Vince mourned what was slipping away: authenticity. Shania Twain's rise redefined country music. With her glossy production, empowering anthems, and genre-blending hits, she turned country into a global brand. But Vince Gill, loyal to the genre's raw roots, saw a different picture, one where country music was losing its core. As Shania took home awards and international fame, Vince remained noticeably quiet. There were no duets, no mentions, and no visible camaraderie. In the close-knit country community, that kind of silence spoke volumes. Vince respected Shania's ambition but didn't agree with the path she paved. For him, country music was supposed to reflect life's pain, beauty, and complexity through honest storytelling. Shania's glitzy hits felt too polished and too calculated. There was no scandal, just a clash in vision. Vince stood for depth, Shania brought glam. Both left their mark on country music, but their legacies never intertwined. For Vince, Shania's rise represented a shift away from the heartfelt stories that built the genre. By the time Jason Aldean became a chart-topping star with his rowdy bro-country anthems, Vince had already seen the trend solidify. Loud guitars, drinking songs, and party vibes defined Aldean's success, but to Vince it felt like the end of something sacred. The emotional core of country music was being drowned out by formulaic hooks. Aldean embodied the style Vince rejected: repetitive lyrics, shallow themes, and a focus on image over storytelling. Vince had always chased something deeper, and Aldean's popularity signaled a music world driven by trends, not truth. The most unexpected name tied to Vince's quiet protest? Kanye West. Not even a country artist, Kanye represented everything Vince opposed in modern music: spectacle over sincerity, ego over emotion. While Vince never named him directly, his comments on fame-hungry performers pointed straight at Kanye's brand of musical theatrics. To Vince, music wasn't about self-promotion. It was about letting the story breathe, giving the song center stage. In contrast, Kanye's persona made him the center of every stage. Vince saw Aldean and Kanye as two sides of the same coin, a move away from music's purpose and towards self-glorification. In a world constantly chasing reinvention, Vince chose to stand still, not from stubbornness but from loyalty to the genre's roots. His refusal to collaborate with artists like Garth Brooks, Shania Twain, and Jason Aldean wasn't personal, it was principle. Vince Gill has long been praised as country music's nicest guy, but beneath that polite exterior is a man who took strong, unwavering stands. His quiet rejection of certain artists wasn't rooted in bitterness. It was about preserving what he believed country music should be. There were no public spats or scathing interviews. Vince used silence as his protest: no duets, no tributes, no applause. And in an industry built on noise, that silence became one of the genre's loudest statements. 68 Vince still stands apart, not chasing relevance but holding on to authenticity. His influence doesn't come from trends or viral fame but from a career grounded in integrity. While others chase attention, Vince earns something far rarer: lasting respect.